Hello, everybody. Welcome to Dad's Den of Pop Culture. Doing a little toy review today on Johnny Bullet, part of Strike Force Alpha. This is obviously done in the style of a G.I. Joe Real American Hero action figure, part of the Lost Squadron from White Elephant Toys and LaCroix Toys. Now, this is part of a wave one of these toys, part of a crowdfunding effort. Those who crowdfunded obviously got the toys. You can still get a little bit of this over at White Elephant Toys. You basically have to buy the entire wave one, or at the last time I looked, one of the bad guys was still available. Now, this guy, a couple of these Johnny Bullets were still available around Memorial Day. And I got one at a good price. So I wanted to pick it out because obviously I love the old G.I. Joes. They were a huge, huge love of mine when I was a kid. And for a few reasons, I'm a big fan of this Johnny Bullet design. So let's open this thing up. Take a look. We'll put Johnny over here. Johnny. Take a better look at this card art. The Lost Squadron, we see Johnny Bullet, essentially Atomic Mike. We see, well, I'm trying to remember what they called him in this one, but these are somewhat based upon the G.I. Joe Adventure Team. That was produced in 1970. We do have, though, a file card similar to the Real American Hero G.I. Joes. Let's look at the front. We see the same basic art with the Strike Force Alpha. Scorched Earth. Dan Watts, 2021. The artist. Really cool stuff. Really fun stuff. So how about old Johnny? That's a good one, Johnny, but ain't the way I heard it. Okay. Yeah, that was just a Fibber, McGee, and Molly reference. So here we have Johnny Bullet in all his glory. Comes with some pretty nice accessories. This kind of looks like a flashlight or maybe a signal device. We got this saw blade. We got this sort of, I don't know if it's like some kind of laser weapon maybe. We got this rifle, we got the backpack, and of course we got Johnny. Now, I believe the system of these, they're designed to be that you can take them apart and mix and match the pieces. Not something I'm going to do. And they are designed, they say, for play. Are these rugged enough to stand up to kids playing with them? I don't know. It's hard to say. Let's bring him up close. So we get a nice view of Johnny Bullet. So he's got the bullet helmet with the chin strap. He's got the metallic arms, sort of a red shirt, black pants. The hands do swivel. You got all the movement you would expect from one of these toys. A little bit better, I think, than some of the G.I. Joes, especially from like Wave 1 that I had when I was a kid. Head moves. Okay. Pretty much what you'd expect. You have the hole back here, so you can put his backpack on. Let's make an attempt at getting that backpack out of here. I love these things to hold the pieces, but sometimes getting the pieces out is a bear. So there we go. Backpack on. All right. Johnny Bullet. Now, Johnny, it turns out, is the member of a strange American tradition of bullet-headed heroes. And this is something that struck me when I was first putting things together. In 1940, Fawcett Comics introduced Bulletman and Bulletgirl. Bulletgirl was a bit all right. Bulletman had invented these essentially anti-gravity helmets that allowed them to fly and to burst through things, the way one does when they have a bullet helmet on. Okay, so interesting kind of character. He lasted, I want to say, till like 1949 or so. There were some revivals later under DC Comics. There was a character called Bulletgirl, who was kind of a bodacious babe, with, I think, some connection to Bulletman and Bulletgirl, at any rate. But here's what's interesting to me. So 1940, we get Bulletman. 1970, the G.I. Joe Adventure Team is launched. Now, that's the direct inspiration for this guy. And he's called Bulletman. And whether he had any connection to the Fawcett Comics character, I don't know. You got the metal arms, you got the helmet, and obviously this image from plaidstallions.com. Go visit them. I'll put a link in the description because Brian Heiler's site is awesome in every way. But this was at a point where the military toys were becoming a little bit more contentious. And so they decided to sort of rebrand G.I. Joe sort of as superheroes. And we got a few characters from that. And there was sort of a little comic, Bulletman, the human bullet, blasts into the G.I. Joe super adventure team. And you get to see, now, he can fly, he can bust through things. How does he do it? Nobody knows. Apparently, I want to say European versions, or no, I think it was the British version. I think Palitoy did one that put sort of rockets on his boots. The American version didn't have that. You would be inclined to think that maybe he was using the same equipment as the original Bulletman. Maybe this was Bulletman and Bulletgirl's son. Maybe. I don't know. But here's what I do know. So a short life for Bulletman, the human bullet. And in 1994, almost 30 years later, we get the human bullet in the Tick cartoon. Now, this toy went by the name of Projectile because, well, just as military toys had been an issue, anything involving bullet or gun had become an issue in American pop culture. It just so happens that I have the human bullet. Why do I have the human bullet? Damned if I know. No, because I went looking for it when I noticed that this was another almost 30-year gap. And I got this guy kind of cheap. So, now, the human bullet would launch himself from a cannon into the midst of the city whenever there was a crisis, and that's all we would ever hear from him. Is he the son of the second Bulletman? Or maybe he's that second cousin they didn't like to talk about at the family reunions. Either way, this version of him, and we'll see if this will work, has a very unimpressive bullet head thing that flies off of. Yeah. I know, I'm kind of sad this does not work better because, frankly, I blew my entire special effects budget on this guy. Oh, that went a little bit further. Okay. So, 1994, we get the human bullet. And then 30 years later, we get Johnie Bullet. So, it's a sort of improbable character design. Guy with a helmet shaped like a bullet, and somehow in America, which of course, where else, we managed to get 4 of them, and they are spaced almost 30 years apart from each other. I'd like to believe that this guy is the great-grandson of the original Bulletman. I'd like to believe that. I don't know why I need to, but I'd just like to. Okay, so anyways, I just thought that was kind of funny. It was one of those things that I start doing this, prepping for this video, and I'm like, I should look up that Bulletman guy, because I remembered that comic character. I should look him up and mention him. And then I'm like, wait, there was, of course, the G.I. Joe one. That's the inspiration. 1970? Okay. And then the Tick character came to mind, and I'm like going, what is this 30-year gap between these characters? Crazy. Coincidence? Oh, I don't believe in coincidences, by the way. I hate that phrase. Of course there are coincidences. Not every 2 events that happen to happen at the same time are connected to each other. Come on, guys. If you're going to be a conspiracy theorist, at least keep it reasonable. So, the one issue I did find with this figure is that the weapons are a little bit loose in the hand, as you can see, which, look, there's good and there's bad. Most of my original G.I. Joes are now missing thumbs. Look at them. Not me, baby. I am not losing a thumb. Most of them are losing thumbs from taking the weapons in and out of their hands. This would be an issue for sure if this was being played with by a bunch of snot-nosed kids. It is not being played with by a bunch of snot-nosed kids. It's being played with by a snot-nosed adult. And so not really a problem, but, and probably not an issue. If you're just posing it, I think it'll probably be okay. But it is something to take note of. The plastic is a softer plastic than you got with the old G.I. Joes. Again, probably not an issue and maybe for the best. But overall, I like the construction. It feels solid. It doesn't feel like something that's going to fall apart on you. And that's really all I'm looking for with these things, because I do primarily just display them. So let's get the other gear out, get a slightly closer look at it. Whoops. And we'll get this little. So this little looks kind of like either source, like a flamethrower pistol or a laser pistol. It reminds me a little bit of the one that Cobra Commander had in the old days. It's not a duplicate of that, but it just kind of reminds me of it a little. We got the saw blade. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know what the saw blade goes to. I was looking, is there... Oh, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. It just hit me. Because these things do come apart. So you would pull a hand off. Okay. And then give him the saw blade. Okay, well, that's totally badass. That had not occurred to me until just this moment. This is live, everybody. Live on tape. So there we go. Put the saw blade on his hand. Okay, that's pretty awesome. Does mean now I have to put the other hand somewhere, which is fine. And obviously this would do the same. It has a little handle here, which I guess you could put in his hand, like so. But that little piece here would also stick on. So you can have sort of like kind of a flamethrower or laser hand, whatever you want it to be. And there we got the, kind of looks like a signal device. Kind of looks like a little bit like that thing Rom used to use to throw the dire wraiths into limbo. Yeah, I was just reading a bunch of those. So there we have it. Johnny Bullet, White Elephant Toys, LaCroix Toys. A very cool concept. They are talking about Wave 2 on their website. I am going to put all these sites up for everybody. Sorry, getting a little bit blurry there. I'll put links to all these, to the sites on in the description to this video so you can go take a look. But they are talking about a Wave 2. The figures in Wave 1 look really great. Go take a look at them. I think you'll be pretty happy with them. Again, I don't have the money to buy the entire wave of figures, which bummed me out because this was the one guy that I was really tempted to display with my old G.I. Joes. And then there it was, Memorial Day. Hey, we're having a sale at White Elephant. And so I went and looked, and lo and behold, there was Johnny Bullet. So I picked him up. Very happy with the purchase. He's going to look cool with the other old Joes, and I like that he is this sort of link to that 1970s version of the G.I. Joes. It's just a little bit before my time, but I respect them. Any guy who basically puts on a bullet helmet and his underwear and goes shooting out to fight, evil, he's okay with me. So Johnny Bullet, go check out those links. If you're down, you might want to get one of these guys. I think they're pretty damn cool, and I like the construction in general, and I think they're very worthwhile. What do you think about these toys? Have you ever seen these before? Any thoughts? Throw them in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. I like the idea that you can sort of pop the hands out and put little attachments on. There's a lot of cool things to be said, and the design, by the way, is very, very cool. But let me know what you think. I'd love to hear from you. If you have any questions, please ask them in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer them. If you enjoyed this video, please consider a like, a subscribe, maybe sharing with a friend, maybe somebody who was into G.I. Joe in both those forms, Real American Hero and the Super Adventure Team. Maybe he'd like to know, or she, that these exist, and that helps my little channel grow, and I really deeply appreciate when you do subscribe and when you like videos and when you comment. It's very groovy. So until next time, God bless everyone. Please be kind to one another. Have a little bit of fun. I will see you again soon in Dad's Den of Pop.